I drew him really fast.
Oh. Hey, welcome to the Noclip Podcast. This is episode 126. I am not Danny O'Dwyer. Danny O'Dwyer is on vacation. He's finally actually taking a break. He's not going to be on the pod this week. He's going to go enjoy his time in the not rainy somehow beautiful country of Ireland. Today, when the podcast is going live, which is Friday, but we're recording on the Wednesday, most of you, some of you, maybe one or two, will be playing the new Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. So if we're in your ears right now while you're adventuring through Hyrule, thanks for bringing us with you. If we're not in your ears while you're playing Tears of the Kingdom, that's also okay. We're happy to be here with you as well on your journey to work, probably. Jeremy, are you excited to be here in people's cars or on their walks?
I love being in you who's listening, I love being in your car. It's such a nice car. You should clean. You have a lot of like Dunkin' Donuts coffee cups on the floor, and honestly, that gives me a bad vibe, but my car is full of trash too, so I can't say anything.
It's just empty bags with like little salt packets in it.
It's a real mess. Sometimes I've like picked someone up. Very rarely I'll pick someone up in my car and I'll forget to clean it, and then I'll snap into a panic as I realize I see my car through their eyes, and I'm like, oh, there's just like trash everywhere. It like doesn't occur to me until there's another person around. You know what I mean? Like, and then it's like when you show a YouTube video to someone, you're like, oh, it's so funny, and then you put it on and you're like seeing it through their eyes.
They're not laughing.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, why aren't you? It's so funny, dude. You should be laughing. This is the funny part. This is the part where you laugh.
Frick Howley, you got any good moments, good videos that you've shown your friends? Anything you go to when someone wants to see a funny YouTube video?
So my favorite thing I found on the internet is a video called Mud Spiderman.
Okay.
Wait, Mud Spiderman? I
just said okay, like that was all right with me. What do you mean?
I think it's called Mud Spiderman. No, like all the time when I'm doing streams, we're always looking up there's a cheat code on YouTube. If you type before, is it semicolon? What's the two periods on top of each other?
Colon.
Colon, yeah.
Colon.
Regular colon.
Yeah, regular colon. Before colon and then any year. So I always do before colon 2009, 2010, because there's a split on YouTube where everything became HD. And then also the internet's sense of humor became self-aware. Whereas YouTube before 2009, you will find the weirdest videos on the planet that have all less than 300 views. So type any phrase and you'll just find weird stuff. But there's a video called Mud Spiderman that just starts in a muddy field and there's some grass. I don't know where. It could be the Midwest. It could be Africa. I don't know. It's just a muddy field. And then someone a skinny, not like a buff person, a skinny person wearing a Spider-Man suit walks onto the field and starts clomping in the mud. And you're like, what is this? And then he starts lying down in the mud. And then he starts like almost as if he's getting stuck in the mud. Like, uh-oh. And he's looking at the camera. And then he just goes all in and splashes in the mud. And then he starts playing in the mud. And then you realize he's starting to play with more than just mud. And it's like, I know what kind of video this is. He starts rubbing mud all over himself. And then there's a part of his costume that there's a part of his costume that starts getting bigger. And it's like,
no. And this is on YouTube?
It's on YouTube, yeah.
Wow.
And there's a whole scene of mud videos on YouTube. I mean,
are they all erotic?
There has to be like a term for it's like something on YouTube that's clearly a fetish, but is it like pornographic enough to be censored, like to be filtered?
Right.
And like there's been so many times you'll start watching videos and then like this is, and then all the comments, everyone's profile pictures is like wet jeans and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
That's the Mud Spider-Man lens. That's the Mud Spider-Verse. But
you
no,
found
seriously,
like the
Mud
back
Spider-Man.
room of the movie rental store of YouTube.
Yeah, it's
like, we got stuff back here. You move the beaded curtain out of the way to find the VHS tapes of like Sylvester Stallone.
I feel like
knockoffs.
the phrase liminal space is so overused, but I truly feel like that is a cultural liminal space you've discovered.
Seriously. Liminal spaces, by the way, is I think what we should call this fun new thing that Danny and I are working on. We have a couple names that we're trying to figure out for this new premium podcast that you can check if you head on over to patreon.com/noclip. If you'd like to support this 100% ad-free podcast, you can fund our documentaries and get access to a bunch of bonuses, including what I just listed, videos, bonus podcast episodes, and Discord access. You can do so at patreon.com/noclip and join, if you'd like, our selection of fantastic Battle Pass holders. James Brown, Jason Drury, Ryan Cobb, Tucker Morgan, Crimson Cyclist, Sven Huster, Aaron L. White, Tim Robinson, Forrest Pruitt, Andy Fegan, Eric Hamilton Schneider, Cameron Latt.
That was a Doppler effect.
That was good. We'll bounce it back and forth in post. George Zirkotis, Jacob Godserve, and Tohir Tiliev. Thank you all so much for your support, keeping the show going, keeping us alive, keeping us fed, keeping our bellies full, putting Danny in slippers and padded slippers. He's okay. He's doing all right. They're not padded. I'm happy to be here with you guys. It's been a little bit, but we're keeping it going. First up on the docket here that I want to talk about, because I did mention Tears of the Kingdom is out today. If you're listening, it will be out in a couple days for us. I'm sure we'll give it 10s, because that's what we do here at Noclip, is just, we love video games. Frank, Breath of the Wild, you were talking about it last week, getting into it again. You've been sort of doing your homework and finishing it up. You're done now, yes?
Yeah, it's funny. I finished the game last night, and on the menu, you can see a percentage, and I'm apparently 16% done with the game. But I don't care. Ganon is dead. Zelda gave me a kiss and a cake or something. I'm happy. But no, I feel like the core of Zelda, now I've beaten Breath of the Wild, it's like you get the Master Sword, you get your main armor, you beat these dungeons, and then you fight Ganon. But the fun of the game is all the open world stuff, getting the Koroxis, doing the shrines. Anytime I had to get through a dungeon, it was like, oh god, it's like taking the exam. I don't know, but I've beat the game. I honestly don't know if I might be too full of Zelda to immediately dive into Tears of the Kingdom. I think it's one of the biggest game releases of the year, so I'll get it. Also, Nintendo games never go on sale or discount, so it's like, all right, just might as well just get it. But I'm excited to chip at Tears of the Kingdom naturally, as opposed to forcing myself to finish it. And just see what mysteries lie. I know the internet's gonna be inundated with Tears of the Kingdom stuff, but I'm happy I beat Breath of the Wild. I'm now, my brain goes to, I still have never beaten Majora's Mask. So I don't know now if is that the next Zelda game? Do I subvert Tears of the Kingdom and go to Majora's Mask?
Right.
But I'm happy I beat Breath of the Wild. It was cool, and now I can enjoy Tears of the Kingdom without feeling guilt, the shame of my backlog, which now I beat Breath of the Wild, and there was 30 minutes where I felt great, and then other things filled that spot where it's I've still never beaten Hollow Knight, I've still never beaten Persona 4. But you know what? I'll take today off of worried about my gaming backlog and appreciate it. But are you guys excited for Tears of the Kingdom?
Yes, I'm pretty excited for it. I mean, I really like Breath of the Wild. It was one of those games that I played when I worked this terrible, terrible job at an escape room alone for hours and hours on end. They were probably watching me on the cameras going, he's not even playing right. He's not even using the environment.
He's not even crafting.
It was a great... Exactly. He hasn't even cooked anything. What is that? The messed up food? That's all pixels? Gross. This guy doesn't know how to cook. I'm very excited for Tears of the Kingdom, although I don't think, and this is total financial relationship stuff, I will not be able to play that game because it's 90 Canadian dollars. Oh. And I'm not buying it twice because Cassie's playing that game for the next 2 months, probably. She will do nothing else. Maybe I'll get to look at it every once in a while. I'm in this weird spot, though, because I remember Elden Ring, the launch of that, and Jeremy, you were very adamant about no spoilers. If people posted a video or a picture of a new location on Twitter, you were super upset about it, which is completely fair.
Yeah,
you were angry. You were writing them angry emails, leaving them messages
writing
on
manifestos
their phones. Don't
and stuff. I was
of course
Googling how to get revenge and stuff.
How do I delete someone else's Twitter account? It's your top 3 Google
I got very
searches.
close to figuring it out.
And I feel the same way, I think, about Tears of the Kingdom, because part of the fun of Breath of the Wild, and I'm sure, Frank, you experienced this a little bit, although you got through it pretty quick, so maybe not too much. But whenever you stumble upon something, and it feels and I talk about this all the time, especially with the Zelda games, where it feels like you're the first person to find it, that is just such a beautiful feeling, and the Zelda games are so good at doing that. Elden Ring is so good at doing that. There's not really too many, I think, that nail that feeling. So I am a little concerned because I'm going to have to wait so long. I'm a little frustrated in terms of seeing all the spoilers and all the cool things. And obviously there's spoilers now, so you're just walking around in a minefield while you exist online. But Jeremy, you're excited for it, yeah? When are you picking it up? You gonna play it day one?
I don't know. I feel I have weird feelings about it. Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of the last 10 years or so. But there's something, I don't know. It's kind of like, it's the way I feel about Mario Odyssey, is that it was such a big, bombastic success and had so much, it appealed to like the fans of Mario from way back in the day. It brought in a bunch of new people. It's kind of like a mainstream game that also has an appeal for more hardcore game folks. But I feel like it was so successful, they're just going to make Mario Odyssey 2. And I don't really want to play Mario Odyssey 2. And so I'm afraid that Tears of the Kingdom is going to be too Breath of the Wildy, but I also, temper that with the fact that I've been on total media blackout for this. So I haven't seen a trailer. I didn't watch the little thing where they were like, come and watch us play in 12 minutes and build a machine or whatever.
So you've seen nothing?
I've seen nothing. All I know is that...
Do you, have you heard words?
I think there's like a guy in it named Link, I'm pretty sure. All I know is that you can build machines. that's all I know, and I know that it takes place in a transformed version of the Breath of the Wild overworld. Is that correct? Question mark.
I will not confirm nor deny.
Okay, I have heard allegations that it takes place in the same world.
Yeah. If they're not beating the same map allegations, they're not doing
they're not beating the same overworld allegations.
I heard this one takes place in Vice City. I saw a Lake screenshot.
Yo, let's go,
dude! Finally, I just want to own that nightclub. You know what I mean? I just want to go in there with all the NPCs and do the same little dance motion.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be fantastic. I don't know. I'm not excited yet, and it's like I feel like it's Christmas Eve, and my mom is like, "Oh, do you want to open one present?" I'm like, "No, I don't care." I don't know what's wrong with me, so I feel like I just need to switch gears or something. I think once I'm playing it, I'll be excited. But there's just a part of me that I want it to be. The part of the appeal for me of games like the Zelda franchise and Final Fantasy is that every time you visit these worlds, it's like a totally new take on a world that you've been to before or something. It's like Hyrule is different every time. Or like there's a guy named Sid every time, but he's like a different guy. And I don't know, I'm worried that it'll be too similar to Breath of the Wild. But again, media blackout, muted all the terms on Twitter, so I have no idea. I'm speaking totally out of school here. These are just my insecurities and fears.
No, fair. Frank, you just beat Breath of the Wild, like we've been saying. So are you a little burnt out on Zelda, or are you just ready to jump right in?
Yeah, I think I need. I always even when I was there was a period in my life before I made video games the work where it was I was always playing something, but when I would my free time was oh my god, this month I'm gonna go through all the God of War games, and just for fun. I feel like every time I'd beat a franchise game, I would want to play something a little different in between. So I think I'll still pick up Tears of the Kingdom and treat it almost like an MMO. Is only play this at the end of night, lie on bed, go explore in a direction. But I don't think I'm going to make it my A game. I still need to beat Resident Evil 4, and that seems like in contrast to Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. Resident Evil 4 is so linear. It's a roller coaster. I kind of know the beats. I'm not gonna have to hunt for Korok seeds. So I think I might blast Resident Evil 4 and then get back to Tears of the Kingdom. But it's weird because I don't know. I'm trying to think about how do I approach media blackout with it. If stuff naturally floats to my Twitter feed, am I gonna look at it? Are people gonna be overly spoilish with it?
Yeah, it seems like one of those things you won't be able to keyword. Mute.
Yeah, because people won't say
Tears of the They'll be like, "Whoa, bro!
It should be illegal.
My favorite boy."
It should be illegal to post anything past the first hour of the game unless you put the entire Zelda Tears of the Kingdom title verbatim with capital
published by
letters.
Nintendo.
Yeah,
developed
exactly.
by Nintendo.
Spoiler warning. Big spoiler warning.
AGL Numa's
spoilers.
It reminds me though when San Andreas 05 2005 coming out. I kind of want to see. I always appreciate fake rumors. If someone blurs a screenshot of Mario running through the hills, is that, I don't know. It could be real, could be fake. You gotta play. It's like EGM's April Fool pranks. You unlock Shang Tsung and Street Fighter, whatever. I don't know. Turning on the blood codes. So I don't know. I feel like there'll be so much noise about it, but I think that's the fun. It's that's the FOMO, right? Well, it's we gotta play it, gotta find out.
Yeah, I feel like I can't remember if I've ever mentioned this on the podcast, but when I was speaking of rumors popping up about games, when I was a kid, there was a website for Ocarina of Time that was a rumor website that told you how to get the Triforce. It was a secret side thing in the game that you could get the Triforce. and on the, it was like, you know, shitty GeoCities website or whatever with all the low poly or not low poly, like low fidelity GIFs and stuff spinning around and like weird star background. But it was constantly looping the X-Files theme song when you looked at it. So it was just, I don't know why, it scared me so much as a child because then music is playing and you're just reading the like forbidden scrolls of how to get the Triforce. I felt like I'd stolen government documents about Zelda and I wasn't supposed to be seeing them. But yeah, that's my favorite thing. It's so hard to get that feeling in the age of, you know, a total media saturation for every game.
Yeah, wikis for everything, endings explained. I mean, there is still kind of that rumor mill. I mean, you know, Herobrine and Minecraft and all that, and kids reading their SCP novels, right?
True.
Still exists to some extent.
Yeah, I feel like that's part of the reason that I try to go media blackout is, Jesse, you were saying that it's that feeling of discovery, the feeling of discovering like a mysterious little corner and feeling like you're the only one who's seen it. I feel like I can almost, it's not that I trick myself, but if I don't see someone else mention those things, like for Elden Ring, a bunch of things fell through the cracks where someone was like, oh my God, I can't believe this exists. And then I would see that and then experience that thing. And I'd be like, cool. It's like, you know, I'm like waiting in line for the Hulk roller coaster, and someone's like, "Oh my God, the part where it goes backwards is crazy!"
Or like someone walks out of the movie, and they're like, "Dude, I can't believe that Jesus dies at the end of
I can't believe
Passion of the Christ. It's crazy.
I can't believe they shot Bruce Willis."
What? No.
Yeah, as you're waiting in line to get in the movie. So I feel like that's part of the reason I just want to be blackout is because, you know, it's like, imagine you were going on a hike and, you know, when you go to a hike, you don't think no one's ever done this hike before. But then when you get to the weird waterfall vista, it's like really beautiful. You're like, oh my God, this is an experience that I'm having. You're not like, well, I bet everyone else saw this too. You know what I mean? There's like, I don't know. You're not like going on hype websites for like a hike.
No, that's a really good point, bro. This hike, 4 out of 5.
You gotta see this tree, man. This crazy tree.
This bark goes hard. So we got a lot of new things coming out, especially new AAA, big Nintendo titles, but there's stuff on the horizon. Gaming is still evolving. It's the summer of games 2022. It never ends. And we're back in it. And there's some demos that came out very recently, a couple days ago over the weekend. The LudoNaraCon event, which is a great name, had a bunch of demos hosted by fellow Traveler publisher. And there were some games that I played that were quite good. I enjoyed them quite a bit. I haven't been playing too many big things because, you know, Tears of the Kingdom is soon, and maybe I could play that in October. And there's other stuff that I'm excited for and stuff I'm going back to. I just finished Horizon Forbidden West, and that was fun. And then, you know, these demos, there was one in particular that really stuck out to me. There was a couple of them that were cool, like the Invincible, this new game that's sort of like Firewatch adjacent. I think that's kind of maybe reductive, but it's sort of like you have you speak to people through a radio comm, but it's first person and you're adventuring through this world that looks like you're inside of a 90s sci-fi cover, not 90s, 60s sci-fi cover. It's very cool looking. I love the art style. The writing's pretty solid. It's very like mysterious and ooh, what are we doing on Mars or wherever we are? I played one for The Pale Beyond, which is also like a neat narrative game. Like they're all, you know, storytelling games. But the one that stuck out to me the most, and it's very short, it's a super short demo, was Stray Gods, the role-playing musical. Now, if you guys haven't heard of this, that's fine. It wasn't super loud noise or buzz around it. It's developed by Summerfall Studios, which is founded by, I believe, somebody from BioWare, who stepped away after Anthem. Can't blame him.
Oh yeah, from the lead writer of Dragon Age, it says right here.
There you go. Thank you. So this game, if you look on the website, there's a cast list. Crazy good cast list. Laura Bailey, Troy Baker, Raul Coley, like Ashley Johnson's in it, Anthony Rapp, Abu Bakr Salim. There's so many good actors in this. But basically, what Stray Gods is it's a visual novel that is a musical. So characters are singing the whole time. There's like little narrative interludes where they're having regular conversations, and you're sort of choosing the next bit of the song. So you like pick the next lyric, and it all works. Like it all comes together. It's presented in this really interesting way. It's doing this thing that I'm seeing more visual novels do, where it's not just graphics, like just pictures on top of pictures. It's a 3D world constructed with the 2D art, sort of like As Dusk Falls. And then there's minor 3D elements that sort of like doors swinging open or like stages or chairs and stuff. So it feels like a sort of middle ground between the visual novels and what Telltale was doing. It's phenomenal. I don't know if I've ever talked about this before. I might have. I'm a huge theater kid, or I was a huge theater kid. I'm reformed. I was big into Hamilton when it came out, unfortunately, and then I learned. It's still good though. I like the songs; they're fun. But I did Into the Woods when I was in elementary school. I was the baker's dad, which was great. That was so much fun. I wore a top hat and danced around and sang. I love doing musicals. I love listening to musicals. We go to theater every once in a while. It's one of my favorite things. This is like the perfect mix of my two hobbies. It's a video game. I like reading sometimes, especially on a screen, and if I get to press buttons every once in a while. And it's a musical. It's like, and it's actually pretty okay. The demo is like, the songs I was expecting to be kind of cheesy, kind of like, I don't know, they don't get, because video games tend to have this problem with audio where there's no overlap between voice lines. If a character talks, they have to cut the line and then the next character talks, right?
Yeah.
It's not often that two voice lines overlap. It's like technical things, and it's hard to make it work when you have those two audio streams crossing. There's a bunch of technical reasons for it, but it's pretty typical that you don't hear good overlap. In Stray Gods, it kind of felt like they nailed it. And in a game where, again, you're kind of picking the lyrics of the song as things go on, like, do I want to be mean? Do I want to be nice? It works. It works. It's necessary that it works, and it works really well. I really, really enjoyed it. I think of the demos I played from the LudoNaraCon event, it was one of my favorite. But Jeremy, you played another one from this event as well, or at least this is when the demo was up, for a different game and a different genre that's maybe more interesting for people who aren't giant musical theater nerds.
Before we move on to that one, I'm looking at Stray Gods,
sure.
and this is super interesting. Two things that stick out to me. One is one of the people who wrote music was Austin Wintory, who...
Yes, you can tell.
Yeah, he's... he did Journey, right?
Journey.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of stuff.
One of the big ones.
Abzu.
Yep.
Oh,
any pretty game you can think of?
Yeah, any beautiful game.
Yeah.
This looks super interesting. It kind of it has it's obviously about deities and has a hand-drawn style. So it kind of makes me think of Hades
right
a
away,
little bit.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also like a bunch of beautiful people. So it's like this feels Hades adjacent. This looks super interesting. Also, I never thought about the overlapping dialogue thing, because that's a thing in movies that when people do it, like Robert Altman is famous for having overlapping dialogue in his movies because it feels more conversational. Because that's how people talk. And if you go to a family dinner, everyone doesn't. I mean, maybe some families all like take turns talking, but I know my family is
like
a lot of
talking stick around the table at Thanksgiving.
My family's a lot of like gesturing
thing.
and like jumping in. This looks super interesting. I am not a musical person at all, but this seems interesting to me. Honestly, I feel like I'm such a narrative-driven person that I can get on board with anything that has a good narrative. I talk about all the time on this podcast that's why I like horror games, is because they have such a strong sense of like ambiance that I just get sucked into the story world. And you're playing Silent Hill 1, and it's like I better go check every door in this hospital, and it's like, oh, but that's cool though because it's scary and the story.
Maybe this time it won't say the door's locked, the door's jammed.
Maybe this one will be unlocked. But I played a game from the LudoNaraCon. What's up with like writer oriented, like narrative oriented events?
NaNoWriMo.
I was just about to say NaNoWriMo or whatever. It's like I don't understand.
I hate that one.
For writers, they sure can't nail a catchy title. You would think that would be their strong suit. I played a game. Now, I mean, LudoNaraCon's fine. It's just it's a word that most people, like, if you're in games, you're like, oh, ludonarrative dissonance, ha ha ha. But I feel like most people are like, Ludo what?
Dude, I didn't know we had Reddit in the call.
I didn't know Reddit was on this call. I played a game that used to have a different title. I've mentioned it on this podcast before. I believe the former title was something like The Mysterious Island Adventure of Fox and Frog. I can't remember what it was. It was something like that. I'm not trying to be reductive. I just can't remember. It is now called Kitsune, The Journey of Adashino. And this is a game that I've been following for a long while. It is a narrative-driven RPG, and it is like top 5 most beautiful games ever made, and it's not even out yet. It is a sort of... It's a Japanese developer, and the game itself is very steeped in Japanese sort of like folklore and aesthetic and culture. but you are a kitsune, like a mythical fox person with a little frog companion, and you arrive on this mysterious island, kind of not sure how you got there. And as you make your way into the island, it's very similar to. Have you guys seen Spirited Away?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know how in Spirited Away,
Dude, do you see big hogs just munching as you walk down the streets?
I haven't seen any big hogs yet, but I'm hoping that's like they're not in the I mean, the demo's short. They could be like 5 minutes after the demo. But you arrive at this island. It seems to be in sort of festival mode. It seems like they're about to have some sort of festival, and things are kind of spooky and mysterious and supernatural. But it does that really interesting mixture of supernatural and mundane, where it's not like you walk in and everyone is like, I'm a spooky ghost guy. You also go to just like there's just a bar, and you go and just like eat a really spicy curry, and the bartender is just kind of weird, and it's what I mean. It's not like everything doesn't have to be so bombastic, and I kind of like that about it. That's one of my favorite things about Spirited Away is it feels, and this game does feel very Spirited Away inspired. It feels almost like homage in some of the ways they talk about the narrative conceit for it. But I love the sort of mundane moments in those bombastic, fantastical conceits where it's like we're at like a bathhouse for the ancient gods, and it's like this is a delicious
we're
lunch
just gonna chill
having.
for 2 minutes.
Yeah, we're sitting in a
just
nice field and eating soup. So it has that kind of mixture, which I like a lot. But it's also what I did not expect is it has kind of a spooky overtone to it. There's like a terrifying beast demon thing that chases you at some point. And that was kind of where I was like, oh, this is interesting. I feel like if this was just a relaxing, cozy, like explore the beautiful festival island, this would not appeal to me as much. So the fact that there is narrative friction and pushback and risk and danger, and you're like, oh my god, my frog friend's gonna get eaten by a demon.
No.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's really interesting. Again, the demo is incredibly short. I played it through twice. It's probably 10 minutes. But the thing that I'm most interested in talking to you guys about is the backgrounds for this game. So it's a sort of fixed camera RPG perspective, kind of like the original Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy IX, is that sort of PlayStation 1 era of RPGs.
Oh, like the pre-rendered backgrounds and stuff?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So it stuck out to me especially because I've been watching a bunch of old movies lately. So I watched Metropolis the other day, the Fritz Lang movie. And then playing this game, it occurred to me that pre-rendered backgrounds in games are the matte paintings of video games.
Yeah.
And it never clicked for me until I watched Metropolis and then played Kitsune. But it just like it occurred to me in a flash that I was like, oh my god, this is like it is a low tech solution that I feel like we need to embrace more, because when you go back and watch like Black Narcissus, or like they did obviously reference that in Immortality. There's a million good like matte painting scenes in that, or even like the original Star Wars, some of the painting in that is unbelievable. And I think pre-rendered backgrounds are the same thing. It doesn't lose anything for not being truly 3D. It's a drawing that you see from one angle, and there are sort of elements of it that the character can be blocked by like going behind the counter or something. So it's sort of pseudo 3D. But I don't know. It's just like there's something so evocative and cinematic about it, and also like from a production standpoint, you do it's one drawing. It's a fantastic drawing for each scene, but it's not like you have to render every.
You don't have to render 900 polygons and how many freckles are in this texture, and it just looks nice. I mean, Final Fantasy VII Remake does that still. Doesn't it have?
Do they have? I haven't played 7 Remake. I haven't played 7 Remake.
Oh yeah, it does some of that. Yeah, it has not to the same extent. Obviously, you're not like walking behind a clearly okay cut out pixel art, car.
Yeah.
But it does have like background elements are clearly pre-rendered. There's stuff that is too pretty to have been rendered in real time. But yeah, no, I agree with you on that for sure.
Yeah, it's just it's like weirdly cinematic, and yeah, I don't know. I just the developer clearly is aware of how evocative that particular style is, because when the demo went live, they also did a stream like on the little, when you go on the Steam on the top tab, it's like someone is playing this game, and it's like a stream that says it's live but was recorded like 20 years ago or something. They did a stream where they were like showing how they draw the backgrounds for it, and it's just I don't know. It's just there's something about it where it feels very handcrafted. It feels like you're exploring this storybook world that someone's drawn for you. And yeah, I don't know. I just think it works really well. So yeah, Kitsune, The Journey of Adashino.
Yeah. Did they have a release date for that, or is it just?
I think it's 2024, loosely.
Right.
Yeah, the developer is Rias, Rias. So follow them on Twitter. I don't know, their Twitter is like 23 and then like the 0 with the slash through it and then some more numbers. I don't know. If you just look up Kitsune, you'll find it.
All right. It sounds really cool. I think like you nailed that sort of like the technical appreciation. I think it's not like it's a limitation. It's an appreciation of a limitation and accepting it as an art style, which is really cool. Like I played Trek 2 Yomi last year, which was trying to kind of capture the cinematic aspects of production. Like there's impossible skylight stuff going on. Like you know, the director's name is Seven Samurai.
Kurosawa.
Who is that?
Kurosawa.
Yeah, thank you. God, man, just was not coming on my mind. Yeah, they try to copy that style of filmmaking and some of the cutscenes, but also in the visual direction throughout the rest of the levels. You can see it. There's stuff that like is impossible. There's stuff that doesn't make any sense. There's like background elements that are clearly like it almost looks like it's styrofoam or like corkboard that they're using to hold things up at times. Or like, was that a paper stand-up in the background? Who's to say? It's a fun way of doing it, sort of like the opposite of what you're saying, of like video games. This is the sort of middle of the medium. It's like, what if video games could copy what movies were doing in the 50s and in the 30s?
Speaking of
like
copying movies, have you guys seen Seven Samurai, the Kurosawa movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so I rewatched Seven Samurai recently, and I realized that Seven Samurai is probably a huge part of the inspiration for the video. I mean, this is also just like a literature thing generally, but Seven Samurai is like a JRPG in structure. It's like,
okay,
it's like a strong guy, and he's like, we got to find more strong guys to like fight this big fight. And they're just like going around, and they'll be in a village, and there's like, oh, look at those guys fighting over there. And they're like, whoa, that one guy's really strong. We should get him. We got to get that guy. But it's so funny because literally, it's just a JRPG. I wonder how much influence that. I mean, I'm sure that trope goes back to like ancient Greek literature, where like Odysseus is like,
doesn't it always?
We need another strong man for this boat, Odysseus. But yeah, Seven Samurai.
So what is it?
JRPG.
Octopath Traveler or no? Septopath Traveler? Is that what that would be?
Yeah, Septopath Traveler.
Yeah, Traveler.
That's very, very good.
Speaking of big guys and looking for big guys and trying to get big guys together, Frank Howley, what are you doing in WWE 2K23? What are you doing?
Oh man, so WWE. It's so funny because the official title is WWE 2K23, 2K22. When I play it, we stream it, and we call it Cyber Slam. It's just we give it a gimmick, and but what we do is we try to find the most messed up online character creations, and just I don't know. It's like I never actually play the wrestling game. I always make it so I just watch the AI. Like the AI takes over, and we just try to break the game and see what messed up characters. So I think I end up talking about it every time a new WWE game comes out. So the new one came out like 2 months ago. I didn't want to pay full price for it because like they don't change the game that much. And also the online content creator pools, like the community pool of content is literally starts from zero when the new game comes out. So it's been 2 months. The game was discounted. I'm like, okay, let's check this out. I got it and immediately spent a whole night downloading 1 million messed up characters and see what the new features are. So even just to talk about it from a game's perspective, from what's new in this one compared to the old ones, there's a mode now called War Games. War Games is one of the most ridiculous wrestling gimmicks ever. I think it started in WCW. War Games is there's 2 wrestling rings side by side.
All right.
So I had to see that because it's like, how is the AI going to glitch through this? How is this going to be messed up? And the way War Games works, it's kind of like Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber, it's where there's one giant steel cage, 6 competitors, people go in one at a time. With War Games, giant side-by-side wrestling ring, giant steel cage, and you can pick teams 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, and the match starts and it's 1-on-1, then 2-on-1, 2-on-2, 2-on-3, 3-on-3, 4x4, whatever. And then the official match starts when it's 4-on-4, and then it's just the most chaos ever. It's the AI wrestlers grabbing, tables, ladders, chairs, wrestlers jumping off the steel cages, and it's just pure chaos, and I love it. And yeah, the fun of the online character creator stuff is like you can search anything. Like I downloaded the girls from Euphoria. I wanted to see,
like Sydney Sweeney and like
So there's, and I downloaded multiple Sydney Sweeneys because some have different outfits.
You gotta get the pool party Sydney Sweeney. Right?
Yeah, there's no pool party Sydney Sweeney, but the Oklahoma dress is in there.
Okay,
Maddie's like pink dresses in there, pink like jumpsuits in there.
Right.
Also, I've been going to all these like independent wrestling shows, GCW and Japanese wrestling shows, and all those GCW wrestlers are in the game. I don't know. It's the same thing as Celebrity Deathmatch. Like whatever is fascinating. There's a bunch of Slipknot stuff. I'm suddenly getting into
Wait, the stuffed? Is the what was it? The inflatable wrestler? Is that in there?
Oh, I have to
Japanese?
look for
Come on.
Yoshihiko. I bet Yoshihiko's in there. I didn't grab that one. But I was gonna say I just got into Paramore. I've been listening to the Essential Paramore collection on Apple Music.
Nice.
And I downloaded Hayley Williams. All the One Piece characters are in there, and it's like Jigsaw, all the horror characters. Jigsaw, Terminator, things like that. But then the thing that's also really funny with these WWE games is when you make custom characters, you can upload photos. So when you're browsing, you'll just see like ripped JPEGs, and some of them are so messed up and goofy. So that's always fun. And then the new thing that I've discovered this year is people are now making custom like arenas. They've always done this, but now with the people can upload JPEGs. So I did a match last night that was on a Fast and Furious 7 arena for no reason whatsoever. It's the whole cast of Fast and Furious 7. There's a giant Paul Walker tribute in the arena. And I downloaded Vin Diesel, had Vin Diesel fight Black Adam, The Rock, which was a big schism in Hollywood. So I don't know. It's just like I really like
fighting on your Twitch overlay. Like you've always got so many little things.
It's a lot that happens, and like I really like it. Like it's so if you are someone who likes wrestling games for the sake of I just want to play a wrestling game that feels good. I know AEW is going to have their wrestling game out sometime this year, which is directed by the original team that did all the N64 No Mercy the Good Ones. This is not that. This is like if you stream or do YouTube content, this is perfect because it's like, oh, you can just make silly stuff. It's stream. Even if you play with friends, it's a good time. The actual gameplay of it, I still haven't physically tried playing the game itself. I only watch it with AI wrestlers. But
that's awesome.
When I tried it, they're like okay, but I don't know. It is on sale if you want to take a gamble. But in terms of legit wrestling games, like I'm eager to see what AEW is like, and I've still never played Fire Pro Wrestling. That's supposed to be good, but I don't know. I always have a good time playing these wrestling games because the other thing too with the online content creation stuff in WWE 2K23 is it's cross-play in the sense of if someone makes a character on PC, you can download on PS4 or Xbox, so the pool is much bigger. And then there's someone who I think on PC is somehow uploading, somehow they're going into the game's files and sourcing levels from cutscenes of the story mode, so you're able to fight in living rooms, airports, and it's completely glitchy and doesn't look or work great, but you can find that stuff. People are somehow uploading messed up. So that's the fun thing I always like about it is finding all the messed up content. There's still no Succession characters. I searched HBO. I downloaded the Tales from the Crypt Keeper guy, but no Succession yet.
Man, what about Mud
I want to have
Spider-Man?
Kendall Roy just throw down. Ooh, Spider-Man?
So they have Mud Spider-Man specifically.
Yes.
Mud Spider-Man's not in there, but what I've done in the past is I download Spider-Man and then put Mud on that.
Yeah.
Like, just you can edit Mud, so...
I like you can previously I've done this.
Yeah. No, we've ended up making, like, everything. It's just a fun, goofy thing, but it comes back to, like, when I was in middle school... In like elementary school, my friends and I would go to each other's houses. We would just make characters, and we would download like on GameFAQs. Like if you want to make Beavis and Butthead, put these stats in. So the CAW community's been around forever. And what we used to do too is like just making wrestlers but make them fat is always funny. I don't know, just basic stuff like that. You can do silly stuff like that. So it's fun to just do it every year with these wrestling games. And now honestly, the animations, the graphics look so good. I feel like with 2K23, there's a lot more what I would call like lucha or high flying type wrestling, where there's a lot more moves where people are doing stuff off the ropes, and which you didn't really see as much before. So it's like the games are technically getting better every year. It's just like in terms of like WWE, like the wrestlers I don't care about, but so that's why you can populate your game with infinite, much cooler wrestlers and celebrities and musicians.
It's like you're making your wrestling Fortnite.
Yes,
yes. Building a roster.
It's great.
Yeah, and again the graphics look so good that it's very surreal how and again the people who make these characters, like they put so much time, so much detail. There's like even forums where people are sharing stuff. So yeah, I always have a good time with it. 2K23, it's on sale. I feel like you probably already know if you're into this or not, but yeah, I don't know.
Stardew Valley fans are going to be copping WWE 2K23 for sure.
It is a harsh difference from Zelda. So it's like, you have the Nintendo puzzle stuff, and then
hold off on your $90 Canadian or whatever that is in American, $5 purchase and pick up WWE 2K23. No, I mean, so you said that the graphics are still really high fidelity. It's wrestling games. They're usually pretty good at that. But the community stuff, does that still have like the same level of quality? Because I cannot imagine the Joker fighting The Rock, and the Joker, like, you could see his pores and all the little hairs on his face.
There is they still have the thing where it's like custom characters will still get sweat and stuff, but like the official, like the developed characters, they look really good. The custom characters still look good, but it's like having like an S rank versus like an A rank thing. Like,
okay.
With the in-game characters look so good. Like there's just an extra level of detail or polish, but all the people are able to make stuff look really good. And then I do have a Dark Knight Joker, which is amazing. And and it's funny because you can type in Joker and there'll be 30 different Jokers. There'll be every variation. Like people get so like, I always download the Insane Clown Posse, so when you type in ICP, you'll see like Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope of every era of their career. Same thing with Slipknot. There's like all the different Slipknot eras and masks, and it's like, this is awesome. So and it's very similar to like, I always love games where there's absurd and incredible custom content, like VR chat, where people just rip, like you can literally go around Vice City, someone just rips the files, or people make their own assets for it. And then Dreams, which I think is getting shut down this year.
Yeah, it's getting sunsetted. Yeah.
Dang, because Dreams, that was something I like surfed through during the pandemic, and it was like, there's a lot of incredible stuff in Dreams that people are recreating Mario 64. That's the other thing too. These are all designed to come up with your own ideas, but it's always funny just to see people like Fortnite remix other intellectual property.
Yeah, just to launder IP so that they can play it. So they finally mod it without Nintendo garnishing their wages for the next 30 years.
You could probably play Tears of the Kingdom on Dreams right now. Search Zelda, and you can.
You have to like misspell it a little bit. It has to be like Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, Turs.
I looked up. Sorry, go ahead, Jesse.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
I just searched WWE 2K23 best custom characters, and I got a little. There's a Game Rant article. I just gotta rattle off a couple. There's pictures. I'll send you guys this image. But Dr. Eggman. This one is. Let me link this image first. You guys need to see.
Yes, I need to see Dr. Eggman in WWE 2K23.
Deeply disturbing. I love that this is our. Wait, hold on. It didn't link the picture. This is our work group chat. So Danny is gonna be seeing this and be like, why is there like an off-brand Dr. Eggman in the chat? Okay. All right, image in the chat.
Come on.
We got Dr. Eggman. We got Ellie and Joel from The Last of Us. Kratos and Lara Croft. Those make a little more sense. Liu Kang, Scorpion, Solid Snake, but he looks. It doesn't really look like Solid Snake. It kind of just looks like a guy.
It looks like the guy wearing the costume you get at like
Dollar General costume.
Yeah.
And then we got Trevor Phillips from GTA 5.
But it's just a picture of Trevor Phillips.
I know
that. Grand Theft Auto 5, right?
So that's the thing. People can rip like JPEGs and insert them.
Oh,
right. That's why it's
cool. And then we got Zangief. So yeah, this is incredible.
This is really good. The Zangief one looks perfect, although I guess that's not that hard to do. I feel like most wrestlers are just Zangief without the beard.
The Dr. Eggman one is my favorite, though, because Dr. Eggman, Robotnik has such cartoonish proportions in Sonic, so seeing him just as like a normal man.
He's all bulbous in the stomach, but then his legs are toothpicks. Can you do that? Is that an option, Frank? Can we make that happen?
This is just like a guy who drinks a little too much and has like a small gut.
Yeah, no, my favorite type of like the cause are those where it's like, instead of trying to make it like recreate it as the cartoon, no, make it look like just a regular job or like a regular wrestler and just kind of goofy and de-stripped like that. It's always fun finding like Mario Brothers, and when my favorite ones are the ones to download are the like John Leguizamo, like the original Mario Brothers movie, where they look very just like they look straight up like New York plumbers, and like that is so much funnier than someone like recreating like Mario and having it have the big bulbous nose and the cartoon face or whatever. Like I think like making it look kind of off-brand and real is like so much funnier.
Yeah, get the Dennis Hopper Koopa in there too.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I want Blue Velvet Dennis Hopper as well. I want just like all the Dennis Hoppers in there.
I want every Dennis Hopper.
Every Dennis Hopper I need. I want a Royal Rumble and it's all Dennis Hopper's roles over the years. Easy Rider, he's an easy young Dennis Hopper's in there. He's like smoking a joint.
Hey, hard pivot. Jeremy.
Yeah.
Wood?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so
what is this?
So I have long been into woodworking. I never really talk about this because it's kind of an on and off thing for my entire life.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
I
thought you were a big Ed Wood fan.
I'm just going to talk about Ed Wood. So, you know, I was just like, I've been like learning Japanese on the side, and I was like, I should get back into woodworking. And I was like, all right, let me like put Japanese learning aside, embrace the woodworking a little bit, right? So I was watching some woodworking videos, trying to get back into it because I want to like learn to work with hand tools. Like I've always worked with power tools when I've done woodworking. I worked as a carpenter for a bunch of summers when I was younger and stuff. But it was always with power tools because when you're doing it for work, you got to do it quick and get stuff done. But I was intrigued by the idea of carving stuff with hand tools because it seems like cool and interesting. And so I was watching this video about working with hand tools in carpentry, and you know, like let me put Japanese on hold, watch this like American guy talk about like when you're carving wood, it's a relaxing thing to do. So as I'm watching this video, he's like, the thing you got to know about working with hand tools is the people who are the best at it in the world are the Japanese. And I was like, wait a minute, this is like, we're just like ended up back at like Japan.
You can't escape it.
So the reason I wrote down wood is, did you guys know that woodworkers are weebs? Because I didn't know this until recently.
I thought you were going to be like, do you guys know wood comes from trees? Woodworkers are weebs?
Woodworkers are weebs. I like all of these, you know, like beer-bellied, woodworking, like red-blooded, blue-collar American dudes who have like wood channels are all obsessed with Japanese woodworking. Yeah, they love anime. No, they're like obsessed with Japanese wood joinery.
Okay.
And I just think it's so funny because that's like the last place I expected to find a bunch of people who are obsessed with Japanese culture is in American woodworking. But they like in Japanese woodworking, they do this stuff where they like carve two pieces of wood to fit together in this incredibly intricate way. And so I started reading about it. I got a book on Japanese wood joinery, and there are these like back in the day, these guilds of woodworkers would like competing companies and guilds would get increasingly more elaborate with their joinery. So like I keep using the word joinery. Just imagine two pieces of wood that are carved with corresponding gaps so that they fit together like puzzle pieces.
Perfectly slot like okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
But like, you know, if Danny's listening to this, he's screaming the words mortise and tenon right now. He's waiting for me to say mortise and tenon, which is like the classic wood joint, because I've heard him say that phrase before. But these are like way more elaborate. Like it's like 1,000 little perfect dovetail fronds that fit into like 1,000,000 little like perfectly precise little holes, and they link together. So there are people who build entire houses using joinery like this, and they don't use a single nail. They'll like get two pieces of wood that fit together, and they both have a little square gap in the same exact spot, and then hammer a square piece of wood in there so it holds, and they'll have like 2-story houses that are held together that are sitting on rocks. They're not even fastened to the ground. They do this thing called scribing, where they'll draw the shape of a rock onto a post and then cut the shape of the rock into the post, and then the post just sits on a rock. It's not like fastened to it. It's not bolted to the ground. So the house is just sitting, just balanced on rocks, and it's not held together with nails. It's just a bunch of pieces of wood.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know. I was just blown away. This is totally unrelated to video games. The fact that like I was like, let me watch this like American woodworker. He's like, the thing about Japan is that they got the best woodworking on the planet.
They're just so good at intricate things, unlike us Americans. Could you imagine an American house put together like that? It would fall apart the next day.
Oh no, I can't
junk. Even. Sitting on rocks and like barely held up on like perfect pivots. No, that's not happening over here. We're duct taping it, keeping it together.
I know, but it blew me away too, because there's so many like Japan has such a active, like there's so many not volcanoes, but there's like volcanic
earthquakes
that like it's like on like fault lines. There's volcanoes, so the whole country's getting earthquakes and like tsunamis. So the fact that there's like a house just sitting on rocks held together without nails, and there's houses that are just still standing from hundreds of years ago that are built this way, it blew my mind. So I got
they know something we don't know.
So I got a wood chisel, and It's
Nice.
like it's weirdly like intoxicatingly fun because wood is just like imagine a bunch of pieces of paper that are held together really tightly, and so
Thank you for explaining what wood is, Jeremy.
well, no, but no, but when you get the chisel, you get it like insanely sharp, and you're like sliving it between the papers.
Yeah, now you're explaining how they make paper.
and then I'm basically just making my own paper. No, it's
Right.
cool. Listen, guys, you're not gonna
No,
believe me,
I
but it's
believe you.
fucking cool.
No, totally.
So
There's something beautiful about making stuff with your hands and like physically creating something that like is art. Let's be honest. It's an artistic endeavor to do woodworking in a lot of cases. It can be functional, but you can also just make something that looks cool or just make something that doesn't look cool and just have fun with it and like learn more of the skill. Is there anything you want to make? Anything you want to put together?
Well,
or?
I have a notebook that I've been filling with designs for small house builds for the last probably 11 years. So I have like a ratty old notebook that's I've had for over a decade that's just full of designs for small houses. So what I'd like to do, I mean, I've been talking to Danny about this for a decade. I'd like to buy some property and build a weird little cabin on it. But probably
streamer house.
like a streamer house made entirely of wood, and held together without a single nail. So when someone goes like, "Let's go," the whole house rattles, like all the windows explode.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll probably start a little smaller than that though.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe like a duck.
Maybe like a bookshelf with no
Yeah,
nails.
there you go.
So yeah, we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, woodworking. It's just 3D modeling in real life.
Whoa, dude! See, there you brought it
Video
together.
games,
Your,
we
your
did it.
game dev experience is coming into the wood.
We got
wood.
there. Also,
Find it now on Steam, $9.99.
just search wood on Steam.
Yeah, just see what you get.
Also, this is totally unrelated, but more game dev related. I've been working on a game, obviously, for a while. The game that I started talking about on the first Jane Dev. I finished the story for it, which I've been working on assets for it and working on like the code and stuff for it. But I finally finished the story the other day, and I just wanted to share that with you guys because it was a monumental moment for me personally. But it's not. I don't like talk about it with a lot of people, so it's kind of like I've been like doing this thing in secret for like a year.
Yeah,
but I'm psyched to share it with you guys. I think I got something cool.
It's one of those things you can't say you're doing too much on it, right? Because then as soon as you say it, you're like, I've done it basically. I told people I did it, so I'm doing it.
Yeah, totally. You let yourself off the hook. Your brain is like, someone's like, wow, that's so cool that you're doing that. You're like, yeah, I am cool.
Like, yes, it is. I am awesome.
I am fucking cool.
I do kick ass.
I'm going to go have like a glass of wine because like I did that. I already got the praise. Like, why would I write it now?
I can uninstall Unity now. We're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
I'm a game dev because someone said, wow, that's so cool that you're learning that.
Oh boy, I think we're coming up on the end of the pod here. There's a couple things I want to touch on, unless somebody has something they want to talk about that they're dying to get across before we get to the end here.
Yeah, there is my friend Muffins, who is like, I think one of my friends who's always been addicted to World of Warcraft, like on and off. So like he's always the first. Like I'll see him tweet something like, is he playing WoW again? Maybe I should play WoW again. Okay, anyways, he tweeted out something that blew my mind. It's called World of Warcraft, but the thing is called Ascension.
Okay.
And this is a custom server, private server, but it's free to play, free to download. What it is it's I would describe it as they've turned World of Warcraft into a roguelike.
Oh, I've heard of this.
What? Hold on.
Where this is the coolest thing. You make a character, you start in Elwyn Forest, and you can pick between four. It's a deck building thing basically, where you pick between 4 random spells.
Don't say that.
And
to me.
you can
Don't say
re-roll
deck building.
or just go with it.
Okay.
So I made a character. I named her Sydney Sweeney, and it is she has charge, which is a warrior ability. She has a lightning bolt, which is a shaman ability. She has one of the Warcraft like dots, damage over time abilities, and then 2 healing spells. So it's like, I guess I'm a caster, but I can also stun lock a character. And like, what's also nice is the server has vanilla, vanilla progression. So it's like 1 through 60, but it's scaled to be the thing where it's like enemies scale with you. So it's very easy. It's not punishing. Unless maybe if you're in a dungeon. I haven't gone with it. But it's so fun playing World of Warcraft, and it's like, oh my god, it's like playing The Matrix. Like, it's kind of weird where it's like you just gotta, it's like playing, Cult of the Lamb or whatever, where it's like, I got this build, I'm gonna try playing it. And I made a second character, and I randomly have stealth, but I have no stealth abilities to use, and I'm like, okay, let me try another one. So it's like, My favorite thing about playing World of Warcraft was making alts, was going through Elwyn Forest and Westfall because it was, and then doing Dead Mines. Like, to me, that's the progression of World of Warcraft. Is like those 3 zones, and I'm heaven. Maybe keep going with Red Ridge, or you do Red Ridge before you get to Dead Mines. But it's like I would always like burn out at level 20. So I like that there's this World of Warcraft Ascension. You should play for free. Again, it's not even legal. Whatever. It's a custom server community stuff. Whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. They made a better World of Warcraft.
Burn.
It's cool. It's so charming. So check it out. It's a custom server. So I've been booted once just from tech issues or whatever. But I think it's so cool, and I'm kind of interested to see like what classes people end up doing. I want to group up with friends. I want to try doing Dead Mines. Are we gonna have I have half healing. I have half damage. Like, I don't know, but it makes my brain think like, oh my god, you can. It's like playing D&D. You can build your own character. So it's pretty cool. WoW Ascension. You can even just see videos. Like, there's like a 10-minute tutorial of how to do it. I just dove in, and it was pretty cool to mess with. So yeah, WoW Ascension. If you grew up playing WoW, or if you like it, or just want to try something weird, I think it's worth checking out. And then my friend Muffins remarked, like, I wonder how long until Blizzard starts to implement this, because that's how a lot of the quality of life things in WoW became from add-ons and things like that. People modding it and being like, and then Blizzard being like, oh yeah, we've now added scrolling combat text. Things that were third parties. Even Quest Helper, they added it. So the whole deck building, class building, roguelike, rolling your abilities is like such a funny, chaotic idea, and I think it's pretty cool.
Oh, I love it. That's really cool. This is on Season 8, it says here. Season 8, Chapter 2.
Damn.
I mean, if they're going to get it, it's too late. They got to hurry up.
Dive in now. Dive in.
Yeah. Cool. This is what gets it killed, Frank.
Oh no, he just killed us.
I'm sorry. I think, what
people gotta know.
It's cool.
I saw there's another custom WoW thing, which is what I thought you were going to talk about. That is like a hardcore mode that I can't remember what they call it. It has a name like Ascension, where it's like a fantasy novel word. But there's a permadeath version of WoW where there's a private server where if you die, you have to delete your character. Which sounds awesome. But I don't know. That sounds like. That's like a bit much for me, but I feel like that would add so much gravitas to everything. If you're like going around, you're like, oh, I like kited this guy, and now I have to like run all the way back to town, or I'll lose my character.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much.
Too much.
That's very cool though, Frank. Thank you for sharing that. I had no idea that was even a thing. I love the idea of. I love when like big games that are really well established get this weird thing. It's obviously not official, but. Like, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm playing Honkai Star Rail after you talked about Genshin Impact on the podcast. I was like, I need to play a gacha game and lose all my money. And it's a JRPG. It feels like a AAA JRPG. It honestly just feels, like Genshin, it feels just like I should have paid $60 for this. Why didn't I? It turns out because they're milking money out of your bank account. They're sucking it with their fangs and get right into you.
Dark patterns.
It's very, very good though. It's super great, but there's a roguelike element to it. Where like they give you different abilities and it feels again like a $20 indie game. I love that stuff. Roguelike modes. Prey Moon Crash I haven't played, but
yes,
I need to. I hear very good things from literally everyone, including you guys. So maybe I should listen while I wait to play Tears of the Kingdom. Anything else? Jeremy, you want to any other wood related things?
The thing about wood, guys, is that it's a bunch of paper. And all the papers.
All right,
stuck
that's
together.
it. I don't want to hear about it.
Grandpa, leave us alone, Grandpa.
Shut up, Gramps.
Oh, and then random plug, but I feel like both you guys would appreciate it. This weekend, well, by the time the movie's out, or by the time this podcast is out, but Matt Johnson, the front of the band,
he's in a movie.
He made a movie.
He has a new movie out.
Oh, he made
Blackberry.
it.
He directed it.
He made it on
Blackberry. That's right.
It's out this weekend on a $5 million budget. The story of a Canadian entrepreneur, the rise and fall of the BlackBerry.
Right.
I'm excited to see it. It's already getting really good buzz through festivals and critics. And they've already said through Q&A that because of this movie, they got an offer to do a Nirvana the Band the Show movie, and
they're like half done with it. They're like halfway through making it.
And I'm sure Matt, I'm sure like this is a work as they're promoting BlackBerry. They're filming stuff.
Yeah. 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, I'm so excited.
I can't wait to see the behind the scenes.
I'm gonna see it
where they're like in the movie. Oh,
yeah.
It's gonna be
I bet they use the production of BlackBerry to shoot other stuff.
100%. That's the most Matt Johnson thing imaginable.
Right. Like he probably made 2 movies for the price of one. But I'm gonna be seeing it. It's weird. Like it's I'm gonna be seeing it yesterday if you're listening on Friday. And I'm gonna see it this Thursday, so I'm so excited. I don't know. It's just cool to see be following Matt Johnson for a long time, being so starved after Nirvana the Band, the show's second season, being teased that there's a third season of the show out there, never getting it, and then finally getting this movie. And then for the broader context, if you don't know, Nirvana the Band, the show, like legitimately I put it up there with like Mr. Show and Ali G as like the funniest shows of all time.
Unbelievable.
You can find it on the internet. It was owned by like Vice Canada. They shut down. It's on Google Drives. It's on the Internet Archive. Go seriously watch it. You'll be hooked. It's semi-documentary. It's genius. It's the best. It's the best.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows of all time. Oh yeah, one of the greatest cultural exports Canada has to offer. The Blackberry movie also has Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny in it, which is like that's like a crazy get for Matt Johnson. I'm super psyched to see that. Matt Johnson's other movies I think get a lot less buzz than Nirvana the Band because I feel like Nirvana the Band the show is more kind of like memeable. Like the Wii Shop music thing is everyone knows that. Even if people
every Wednesday,
it's
people
like
love shopping on the Wii.
It's like when the Mighty Boosh way back in the day, like early internet, the Old Greg episode went viral. So a lot of people know about like Old Greg. I don't know if you guys have any idea what I'm talking about.
You want a drink out of my shoe? You want some whiskey or whatever?
You ever go to a club where people wee on each other? But I feel like Nirvana the Band the show is like the more memeable thing. But his movies are actually really good. I guess his first one. What's the school shooter one, Frank?
The Dirties.
The Dirties, yeah.
What?
I don't know. I wonder rewatching that movie in 2023 America if it would feel a little much. But it is a very good movie. And then the Apollo launch one. I should know the names of his movies, but I haven't seen them in a long time. He filmed a movie about the Apollo launch and basically like dressed in period appropriate clothes and went to NASA to get a tour and didn't tell them he was filming a movie. And then he got into like the Apollo launch room and asked the tour guide like, hey, can I just like cool for just like alone and I just want to like be alone in here for a minute. The tour guide's like, okay, I guess so. And the guy left and they filmed a scene in there like at NASA without permission.
Oh my god!
And that's Matt Johnson's whole thing is just guerrilla filmmaking.
He's a
like,
little prankster,
just stealing shots and like not getting permits and just doing wacky shit. And then when things go wrong, just like folding that into the narrative, especially for Nirvana the Band. One of my favorite scenes is they're in a library and they just ask this guy, like, hey, we're looking for this. Like, where do we get it? And he's like, I don't know. Like, go to this place. They're like, oh, and then it cuts to them going to that place.
Yeah,
and it's just like, they just like, yeah. So that's why the show takes forever to make. Also, I wonder, do you guys think Nirvana the Band season 3 will finally release now because Vice is like shutting down?
It's been done, right? They're holding on to it, right?
Yeah, they
got legal
now
trouble.
That it's is that what I thought? I saw one thing where on a Q&A like from the Reddit one, they said that it's so old that they hate it.
Oh, really?
All that stuff. they hate half of it. They still want to put it out there. I think they need the money to finish it or put it out there, but like they know people are hungry for it. They're and again, I'm eager to see what this movie thing does. If that's one of the same, will they recycle footage? But it's all of the Q&A stuff is constantly like, we know, we're working on it. Even Jay McCarroll, who has less of a less public facing on that stuff. He also he did the music for this movie Blackberry, so they're still
cool.
But even
together.
Jay,
that's good.
Jay posted something at the beginning of the year being like, trust us, news soon. So yeah, although they did sell the house, the famous Nirvana the Band, the show house, a few years ago.
I'm in Canada. I live like an hour's drive from Toronto, and I was like, dude, I gotta go. It's like a nail salon now. It was so sad.
A nail salon
or something boring like that.
Oh my god.
Or the one thing that is cool though, they that scene in the bank.
Yes.
There's like a big shootout in the bank. Great, like the end of the first season.
And his name is John Cena.
Yeah, so stupid. I love that episode. And as soon the second they got to the bank exterior, I was like, that's literally down the street from my house.
Oh no way!
Like it's right there. I walk past it all the time. It's an old bank. It's turned into some textile factory now or something. I don't know. But every time I walk past it, I'm like, dude, they were up there. They were up there for real. There was a Little Caesars. It was great.
That's amazing.
I love.
You have to go to the Rivoli.
The show is so good.
It's the Rivoli. The Rivoli's probably still around.
They posted a picture of them outside the Rivoli on Instagram like 2 weeks ago.
Man.
Like them just like I don't know.
They never get in there. All right. I think that's a podcast. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of this conversation. We learned a lot today. We learned what wood is made out of. Turns out it's paper.
It's paper.
We learned about a very cool roguelike game and upcoming stuff. And I mean, who cares? There's you guys are playing Tears of the Kingdom. It's that's going to consume everyone's lives for the next couple of weeks. It's going to be interesting podcast fodder as everyone doesn't talk about the one game they're playing because they don't want to spoil it for the next couple of weeks, but we'll see what happens. If you want to support what we're doing over here at Noclip, you can head on over, like I said, to patreon.com/Noclip. Support the podcast, fund the documentaries. You get a bunch of stuff. There's a Discord. There's lots of stuff going on. You can help us out. You can pay for new bikes. Frank got a new bike. It's great. Where you going on your bike, Frank?
Oh man, It's I live like off a major street in my town in Orange County, and so the first day I went on my bike ride, like 4 days ago, I just went down the road. Like, let's just go see how far as I can go. And again, honestly, Breath of the Wild inspired me. Like the rediscovering mystery, the search for adventure. Let's just pick a direction, see what happens. So I was going down the road for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then I saw where it was Ladera Ranch, like something trail. I'm like, well, I've never gone in here. Let's go. And I found the most beautiful little trail that like is a good like halfway point for the workout.
Nice.
And it was so pretty and serene. And then I was about to get back on the road, and then I saw, there's a trail here. Go down this way. Sure, let me go down this way. And then I took to get back home. I went down this this trail. I was passing by other mountain bikers and stuff, and it was like, this is awesome. And it was literally like, down the street from my place. I would have never discovered that hike or that spot, and it was just going one direction. And so now my brain is like, well, what if I turn right on my next workout? Where would I go? And now what I want to do is I want to throw my bike in the car and then go to like Irvine, which is like 10 minutes north, because there's a giant park in the middle of Irvine. And it's the same thing. I just want to take my bike there and then just go. So it's like this genuine thirst for adventure. And now I like legitimately am like texting friends like, do you have a bicycle? I want to like go out there. I want to like find the perfect app for maps, bike routes. If anyone is listening to this and like has resources, let me know. But it's fun to get into a new hobby.
Trails? Let us know.
Yeah, I'm gonna do review scores. I'll have to eat
this is becoming what we talked about earlier, which is that we're gonna be like, dude, you gotta see this tree, man. It's like the craziest.
You gotta check it out, man.
Yeah. I'm not gonna spoil Tears of the Kingdom. But I'm gonna spoil nature. I'm gonna
spoil nature. Oh, dude, I heard about this.
I was never gonna check that out anyway. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Exactly. Yeah, instead of going hiking, you just like read a little synopsis on IGN about it.
6 out of 10. Okay,
6 out of 10.
That's fair.
Every trail is a 7 out of 10. I don't understand.
Yeah, what, dude? Oh, don't get me started. It's too late to talk about that.
It's too late to talk about that.
Oh, it's too late. I'm going to Boston next month.
Oh, hey.
What? Yeah, I know. You guys were the other week. You were talking about like stuff to do when you're in Boston. I was like, it's like they know. It's like they know the touristy stuff.
We just did the podcast for you. Are you doing a duck boat for real?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Nice. It drives across the street on the land and then goes in the water, right? Is that...
It's unbelievable. It's like an Ian Fleming James Bond car.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I feel like I don't know the that's so funny. I don't know the James Bond reference, but I know the Austin Powers reference of the Mini Coupe
that's all right.
Into the water.
That's fine. The same thing. It's like you got there eventually.
Yeah, that's my problem, man. All my cultural references are just like parody.
Our cultural references.
Oh yeah.
Like, everything I know is a Family Guy joke. Don't ever act like I'm smart. It's just what is Seth MacFarlane like beamed into my skull.
Yeah, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. That famous line from The Simpsons.
It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. You can follow us on Twitter at NoClipVideo, at Danny O'Dwyer. He's not here, but you can catch up on all his fun photos from Ireland. You can follow me on Twitter at Guarascia, Guarascia. You got at, what happened to me there? You got at Frank Howley and at Jeremy B. Jane. Lots of cool stuff going on at NoClip. Lots of docs coming out. It's the same stuff from last week. Danny's always got things rattling around in his brain. We're doing Burger King. We're doing Choo Choo Charles. That's out soon-ish, right?
Yeah, when Danny gets back. I edited it, and Danny is putting the finishing touches on it. I think he wants to add a little, sometimes you gotta zhuzh it up a little bit, you know?
Yeah, add a little zhuzhun.
A little zhuzh.
I don't know if that's bad. I can't remember. I don't know if
zhuzh?
Immortality, also
Immortality, that's
soon.
what I'm working on. It is, Yeah,
what is that? Next week, right?
It's done. No, it is a big project, especially because it is a game about movie editing, and so I'm taking my time with it, because as I'm working my way through, little lightning bolts are going off in my brain, and I'm like, oh, I could get really clever with some. I mean, if you've played Immortality, you can imagine what I'm talking about here. So yeah, I'm working on it. It's a big project, but I think it's going to be one of the coolest things we've ever done. The footage looks great. All of the actors were so giving with their interviews. Like they're just so like, there's like some truly vulnerable moments, and it's just like, I don't know. It's one of the most in-depth things I think we've ever done as well. Just like got some insight. There's so many extras as well. I want to talk to Danny about potentially doing something for patrons that's just like all of the extras, because there's just too much for this documentary. It can't be like a 3-hour documentary. So
I mean, could be.
I mean, it could be, but it also could be like a bunch of cool stuff that maybe it's.
But if there's extra stuff, it could be on the Patreon.com.
Maybe it's hidden behind a paywall. I don't know.
Who's to say?
No, you
put it like that.
I know.
It doesn't sound as exciting.
I'm kidding. I just want people to see all this stuff, and I just want to find a way to like get all of this extra stuff out to our patrons. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Maybe a crew.
All right. Well, yeah, crew. And there's lots of options. We got a lot of cool outlets. And it's all because of you. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for helping us out. And we love you. Enjoy Tears of the Kingdom or whatever else you're doing. Be sure to check out WWE 2K23 on whatever platform you play it on, and download Your Frank Howley today. Thank you so much. Catch you next week. Goodbye.